Today, I want to talk to you about upping the joy. And this is actually a message that I was going to send before the holidays. I had a couple times got all ready, had my points I wanted to share with you, sat down to do it, and I just couldn't bring myself to get the message out. And part of that is because I was also working on upping my own joy. So there was a little bit of me that felt maybe disingenuous sharing the message because I wasn't feeling super joyful. And to then get on the call in this video and share that with you felt a little bit off. Part of that too was probably also, I think, just going in the holidays, I was like, okay, it's time to disconnect from work for a bit and sharing stuff and focus more on what is going on personally. Now, why was it tough and why is it still important to share that? So, the thing I realized after is that I was still doing the things to help up the joy. And I think that is what people often, it's easier to feel happier and show up with enthusiasm and bring some energy with your family, with your team when you're feeling good, when things are going good. But what about when things are not going good or you're feeling more low in your day? And that's one thing for me, which I've been upfront with. I feel, I've had a lot of stuff going on personally, some more adversity, and that tends to, maybe be in a lower gear. But every single day, I still do the things that help to up the joy. And that is what I want to talk about today is why this matters and why to do it. So one, why it matters and why it connects with being more balanced and less stressed is because you bring more presence to your day. You show up with people in a better day and it feels better. When we are feeling lower, feeling more down, if you aren't doing the things to help uh, bring more joy to your day and your experience, it's very easy to stay in this lower downward spiral. So we need to be intentional about lifting ourselves up. Again, ideally, we're already up there, but if we're not, if you are waking up and you are dreading the day, if you are bracing yourself going into a team meeting because you know there will be tension and people will be having a harder time, if you are just getting through your day, your to-do list, but you're not really present in what you're doing or feeling or enjoying the day, well, then you're missing out on enjoying your life. You're not showing up as your best with others around you, and it doesn't feel as good. Now, this doesn't mean to always be happy and to always be joyful, but it is being more intentional about it. And it's something back when I was burning out, I wasn't intentional with it. It was literally just get through the day. I tell a story in the book how when I started early on in my corporate career, I saw this director walking down the hall and he just looked like glum. And I'm, what's that guy's problem? And they said, oh, he used to be so happy, go lucky, and smiling all the time, and just the grind got him down. And that was what he's like. And at that time, I said, well, that's never going to be me. I'm always going to be happy, my go lucky self. And the biggest feedback I was getting at the end of my corporate career, because I'd made a lot of really good changes, the biggest feedback I was getting was to just smile. I was still a bit going through the motions each day and showing up. And in my defense, and yours, if that's too, you too, I was feeling lower energy for that, but it was to smile. And then when I wrote the book, I had in there's a chapter on experiencing more joy and less stress, because that can help you feel more balanced within and feel more balanced in your life. You're not putting it off. But one of the small, simple things you can do is smile. And I had to go back and forth with the editor because she kept pushing back and saying, don't put this in the book. People do not want to hear to smile. But it was such a fundamental uh, something I do every single day, even when things are feeling hard. But there is psychology behind that. When we can be intentional to smile in our day. And I'm not saying fake a smile, stop on a smile. It's like to find something joyful for you, or to show up in a room with other people and smile and help lift them up. That boosts our well-being and our resilience and a sense of balance. And so I kept it in the book, but just understanding that it may not come natural. If things aren't going smoothly, which they might not be, we need to be intentional with this. If I got a lot of stuff going on, my natural tendency is not to be enthusiastic and, um, bringing that in my day. And so I am being more intentional. And that comes from a bigger value of, how I want to show up with others, but also, I want to feel the day more and I want to show up with others in that way. And I really encourage you and challenge you to think about that as well, whatever that looks like for you. So, three ways that can help up the joy. So, one is just simply scheduling it in your calendar, putting it part of your day or your week or your month. And what are the things that bring you joy? What are the experiences that leave you feeling good or the people you want to spend time with? Putting that in your calendar. It does not just happen. We must be intentional with doing it. So having something in your calendar to look forward to be intentional, once a month, I want to go out with friends, or hey, booking that trip you want to do, or just giving yourself something that gives you joy, not everybody else, but gives you joy, having that in your day or your week. We must be intentional, put that in our calendars and make space and time for it. So that's one, is that you put it in there. You make space and time for it. Because what happens too, like I said, when we face adversity or life gets really busy, is then we put those things off. We do everything else except those things, but those are the very things that help lift you back up, that help you navigate your day and the stress and whatever you are experiencing. So being intentional, put that in to your calendar and your day, and then actually giving yourself permission to follow through on it and prioritize it. And it can be something big like a trip. It can be something just small, like enjoying a fun little moment with your kids, or reading a book if that really gives you joy. Whatever it is for you, being intentional, put that into your day. Another way that we can up the joy is doing less of the things that don't give us joy, that stress us out, that bring us down. And when I was looking at, how do I want to up my own joy? Uh, what came up is like, stop bracing for the worst to happen. Because that is something, had family members ill, um, lost some people, have, kids that are navigating their own things and their own emotions. And I just found that I was kind of each day bracing for the worst, that you might get a not good phone call, or someone else might be having a harder time, and how the effect. And so I was kind of bracing for the worst. But that was a really great insight, because then I could look and it's like, okay, stop bracing for the worst. So that really helped with it. And just, being mindful of what you say yes and what you say no to. If you say yes to the things, you're doing them because you want to do them, or you care and it's important for you. For me, it's being really mindful. If I'm only doing it out of obligation, or I'm worried you're going to be mad at me, to be mindful to say no to that, because that stresses me out more, doesn't bring the joy. And then, just saying no to some of those things that bring you down or keep you in that lower space. So, second way to up the joy, do less of the things that take away your joy. Okay. And then the third one is just being mindful of how you're showing up in your day and your life. And one, something that when I was learning to do this and smile more, and enjoy the day more, and I talk about in the book, is that I had read somewhere about, when you greet your partner, when you greet your kids, how you would feel if you haven't seen them for 10 days. Bring that kind of enthusiasm when you go pick them up from daycare or you see them after school or at the supper table, when you go into a team meeting, to go, okay, how can you help lift up the room? How can you bring more joy or enthusiasm to that meeting? Now, this isn't being perfect. This doesn't mean you always need to do it. There are days that we have where we're just like, I don't feel like being the person that lifts others up. And that is okay too. I give this advice to myself as much as to you. But we also can be more intentional about that and how we're showing up. And when we do, not only do you lift up others around you, you lift up your own spirits and joy when you do. And so, one thing for me, the last few days is I've been really like bring more enthusiasm to the moment. And it's just such a small, small, tiny thing, but it's making such a difference again when, go say good morning to someone or going on a call with someone and just bringing more of that enthusiasm. Now, again, if you're having a hard time doing that, you probably need to fill your cup and do some of those things that help lift you up. So, this isn't about, again, plastering on a smile. This isn't about pretending everything is okay, but it is about being more intentional to feel more joy in your day, to help lift up others around you. The same way, really, someone who's a negative I don't really like positive, negative person, that label. I don't love that. But just for the context of this, the same way we think about how a negative person can bring your energy down, positive person can bring it up and you can help lift that up. So look for ways. If your team's having a hard time, how do you add a little more fun? How do you not make things so serious? How do you help lift up the mood of others around you? And that's one thing. If I were to go back in my corporate career, I'd be more intentional to smile, even if I was feeling, not as much energy in the day. So be intentional with it. And also knowing that you can help others around you as well, but also for yourself too. Your life is right now, and if you're going through the day dreading the day, and if you are, no judgment, that's good awareness, but that's probably not how you want to live your life. And so it doesn't just happen. We must be more intentional with it. So that's what I'm going to offer you this week, is to think about how can you up the joy? How can you add something to your calendar and be intentional to schedule it in? How can you do less of the things that steal your joy? Whether it's something you do or, saying no to someone, or just even your own mind being like, I'm not going to go down that downward spiral, to do less of those things. And then being mindful of just how you're showing up in the everyday moments and bring some more enthusiasm or joy to that. Whether it's to a meeting, whether it's seeing your kids at the end of the day, whatever it might be. So, what can you do to up the joy this week? That's what I'm going to leave you with. And if you want to share, I'd love to hear from you. And finally, I just also want to remind you, if you are a professional woman or know someone, I do have a once a year in-person workshop coming up in Regina on January 23rd. There's just a few spots left for it, and you can still register. And so check it out if you would like to know more. Would love to have you join us. And that is all about creating more balance and less stress in this year, but really figuring out what you can do now. And one of the things we're going to be talking about is upping the joy and upping the confidence and just bringing more energy to your day. All right. Have a wonderful week and remember to up the joy.